Hey friends, welcome back to another day in the life vlog. God, these are getting repetitive, aren't they? Where, as usual, it's an ongoing struggle to be productive on a day off work during lockdown. The day starts at 8:30 when I wake up and lie in bed for half an hour, feeling sorry for myself and doing absolutely nothing. At 8:55, I wrench myself out of bed because I've scheduled in a podcast recording at 9 a.m. I sometimes exercise this level of masochism to force myself to actually wake up. Otherwise, I end up lying in bed browsing Twitter like a total waste man for a few hours each morning. From 9 to 9:30, I get interviewed by a lovely student from India called Afan on his podcast artfully titled Didn't Really Name It. We talk about side hustles, jobs, and Netflix, amongst other things. It's a fun little chat that wakes me up, and then at 9:30, I spend an hour recording another podcast, this time with Faisal from the UK, who runs the podcast Freshly Grounded. We chat about productivity, YouTube, the world of being a creator on the internet, and our shared love of stoicism. From 10:30 to 10:55, I have a shower, put on some deodorant, change, make my morning cup of coffee, and wash the dishes. Then at 10:55, I sit down with my coffee, a banana, and my iPad Pro with Magic Keyboard. I ask Siri on the HomePod to play the Pure Country Radio playlist on Apple Music, which is how I like to start off my mornings, and I open up Notion to do my daily check-in. I start by answering a few questions that help me get the day off to a nice start. Then I switch over to Roam Research to figure out what I'm actually going to do today. And then I switch over to Day One, my journaling app, to write out my morning pages, which is where you just write whatever comes to mind for about 3 pages. You're supposed to do it with pen and paper, but that's way too slow for a self-professed productivity grease monkey like me, so I prefer to type it out instead. And today I typed out 621 words, which is a solid start. By 11:20, I'm done with the morning check-in, and so I scroll through Twitter for a bit before getting up to do something useful. I warm myself a breakfast burrito, empty the dishwasher, reload the dishwasher, and grab a cheeky bottle of water because it's important to stay hydrated. At 11:37, I'm finally ready to do some actual work, so I start by working through finalizing the script for the upcoming book club video about the book Make Time. Again, I'm doing this on Notion, which is what my team and I use for all our scripts, and what I personally use for a load of other things. If you're wondering about Roam Research, the other note-taking app I use heavily, I'm working on some videos about that, but I've already got like 6 videos about it in my workflow series available on Nebula. More details in the video description if you fancy checking that out. Anyway, I finish off the writing session at 12:17 when it's time for a poo. I'm out of the loo by 12:40 and I'm ready to start my second wave of writing for this video. So I make another cup of disgusting instant coffee and pour it into the Ember mug that keeps it warm, which was actually a birthday present from my lovely editor, Christian. To mark this change of gears, I switch from the Pure Country Radio Apple Music playlist over to my own Study With Me Spotify playlist with lots of instrumental music from movies, TV shows, and video games. I finished the script for the book club video by 1 p.m, and now it's time to start filming. As usual, it takes me a solid half an hour to get the cameras and lights set up, and then from 1:30 to 2 p.m, I film the A-roll for the first video of the day called Is Reading Fiction a Waste of Time?, which was actually released on the channel last week, lol. I then have a 15-minute phone call with someone asking me to do a Zoom presentation about how to study for exams for a group of students. I say that I'd love to, but I've been making YouTube videos about this for 3 years and I've got nothing more to add, so I decline in a hopefully polite fashion. I'm trying to get better at saying no to stuff, and it's always hard because people's requests are usually so reasonable. I like how Derek Sivers frames this. He says that at the start of your career, it's helpful to say yes to everything to maximize your opportunities, but when you get to a point where the demands on your time are starting to pile up, you switch to a mindset of hell yeah or no, i.e. something's either a hell yes or it's a no, there is no middle ground. Anyway, at 2:30 I get started with filming the Make Time video, which is all done by 3 p.m, and so it's now time for a spot of lunch. I finish eating at 3:35 p.m, and now it's time to switch the living room into overhead camera mode. Before doing that, thankfully, I get a delivery of my proper coffee, so my third cup of coffee for the day can be legit rather than toss. At this point, now that I've got the overhead set up, I decide to bring back the fan favorite Mail Time with Dr. Ali. Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of Mail Time with Dr. Ali. Let's see. This is getting a lot less sharp. Let's see what we've got in store. Oh, hello. That is what I'm talking about. Oh. Here we go. That's number 1. Item number 2. Again, from our good friends over at Amazon. Hashtag not gifted. Hashtag not spawn. We have the Razer Kraken Tournament Edition headset for chatting with the boys. So, what else have we got in this episode of Mail Time? Well, I'm glad you asked because we have a monstrosity. The folks over at Blackmagic Design are very kindly lending me some video stuff for a little while. And chief amongst the things that they're lending me is this absolute beast. This is the Ursa Mini Pro 4.6K G2 cinema camera. This is next level. Like, I have never even held a cinema camera before, let alone, gonna be using one. This is the Sigma 18 to 35 f1.8, very nice. So in theory, what we should be able to do is, here we go. This is my new toy for the next few weeks. So we'll try it out, we'll see how it goes. This is absolutely next level. In fact, I should probably get a thumbnail with this as well. Oh, it's heavy, it's really heavy. Maybe thumbnail with this and with the PlayStation. That would be a super flex, wouldn't it? So yeah, this is the cinema camera I'm gonna be trying out for a while, having got a lot of thumbnails with it. We also have the Blackmagic Video Assist 12-inch monitor, which attaches to the top of the camera so you can see yourself, like I'm looking at myself in that monitor right now. You can see yourself while recording in like selfie mode. And also, we also have the Blackmagic eGPU, which is like an external graphics card, Thunderbolt 3 eGPU Radeon Pro 580. So the idea is that you plug this into your MacBook and it becomes a sort of external graphics cardy type thing for gaming and denture video editing and cool stuff like that. So thank you Blackmagic for lending me all of this stuff to try out. I will be trying it out and I will report back, let you know how it goes, hopefully trying to up the production value of this sort of stuff a little bit. Okay, final aspect of mail time is very exciting. So this is a box made by my friend Will, who is a bespoke leather worker based in Cambridge. And this is really cool. These are some custom handmade notebook covers. So this is all very high tech. Oh, look at that. This is the sort of box that it comes in. And this is the first kind of line of merch for this channel. So Will and I have partnered and we've designed these notebook cover things. They're available in two colors. We've got sky blue and we have tan. And they're built for the Leuchtturm 1917 notebooks, which are my favorite notebooks that I use kind of physical stuff. And they're really cool. So check this out. Basically, we're calling it the Morning Dump series. If we look, you'll see there's a little Morning Dump embossed quite subtly in the corner. So that's the one that I'm going to be using. And we've got our logos kind of subtly embossed on the inside back cover. So it's just like a cool way to make your notebook. You've got the option of not having the morning dump if you're not into that sort of stuff. And the idea is that you would take your Leuchtturm, in fact, let me use my actual one. This is my actual Leuchtturm 1917. So what you do, you take the notebook and you slide it in to the back cover. It's a bit stiff because this is kind of brand new leather. And here we have the leather-bound edition of the Leuchtturm notebook. So you can leave this sort of cover flapping if you want to use this as a pocket for stuff. You've got your notebook, it's on leather, and it's got this little like pen holdery thingy as well. So if I grab a pen, then what you can do is you can chuck the pen in here, and now we've got a notebook with the leather holder, and we've got the pen. And these will age very nicely. So don't know when they're going to be available, but there'll be a link in the video description if you want to like order one. If you like, me and Will are mates, so we thought why not? And this is the Morning Dump stamp, and you can see it over here. This is how we emboss Morning Dump in the corner of these notebooks. So yeah, that's very exciting. Thank you all for making these, and they'll be available at some point, but link in the video description if you want to like pre-order one or something. I can't imagine many people will, but it's a bit of banter, right? This is a nice blue color, and then the brown obviously like will age nicely over time, and we have this sort of sky blue like one, which is, yeah, kind of cute. I love cute stuff like this. Anyway, that concludes this episode of Mail Time. Thank you for joining. It is now 4:40, so I've got an hour and 20 minutes before our podcast recording in which to do some actual proper filming with the overhead rig. So yeah, see you shortly. By 4:30 p.m, my flexing is done for the day, and my biceps are a little sore from holding up the camera in 100 different angles for the thumbnail. Now it's time to film the videos that I actually needed to film. So from 4:30 to 6 p.m, I filmed the overhead B-roll for the 2 different videos. All right guys, so check out this super janky setup. So I'm sitting here. We've got main camera in front of me with a monitor over there. We've got audio recorder, microphone, overhead camera connected with a guitar capo to stop the wires getting in the way, to the MacBook, which is showing the overhead shot. The microphone's getting in the way over the moment. So that is kind of what it looks like when I move my hand up and down. Cable over there and big ass light over there. So this should hopefully work for the next few hours. Then from 6 to 7 p.m, my brother and I do a YouTube live stream where we record an episode of our podcast, Not Overthinking, and we chat to our new friends Cliff and Valentine in Los Angeles about friendships, relationships, and social skills and stuff. If you haven't checked out our podcast, you can find it on every podcast app by searching Not Overthinking or by going to notoverthinking.com. Once we're done with the recording, I chat to my grandma for a bit over WhatsApp video because I'm such a good grandson, and then shoot various overhead thumbnails for the book club video, along with this ridiculous shot of Twilight that I posted to my Instagram for banter. P.S. Please follow me on Instagram, lol. From 8 p.m, I unbox and shoot a first impressions video of the Kindle Oasis. The idea is that I've got the footage and thumbnail now, so in a month's time, after I've been using the Kindle Oasis for a month, I'll film another segment and put a video review together, which is hopefully reasonably informed. At 8:50, I take some fancy overhead shots of the Morning Dump leather notebook covers. This is a line of merch that I'll be launching soon, and I'm working with a friend in Cambridge who makes bespoke leather goods to put these together. If you'd like to pre-order one of those or sign up to our mailing list, check out the link in the video description. Anyway, taking these 200 photos ends up taking a solid hour, so at 10 p.m, I start wrapping up. I still need to do my workout of the day, so I tidy the living room up a little bit and then bash out my home workout while listening to the Wheel of Time fantasy series on Audible, obviously at 2.5x speed. This is all done by 10:45 when I unpack this week's food delivery and eat some halloumi with pasta and broccoli, which apparently makes 50 grams of protein, 60 grams of carbs, and 19 grams of fat. At 11:30 p.m, I finish off the home workout with some attempts at planche frog hold things, whatever it's called. And then finally at 11:45, I offload and organize the various photos and video footage from the day. This ends up taking over an hour, and I'm finally finished with initiating the upload to Google Drive at 1 a.m. The final job of the night is, as usual, to do my nightly reflection practice on Notion, where I answer a few reflective prompts and ask myself the question, what's the most story-worthy thing that happened today? After doing this final review and after this solid day of decent productivity and surprisingly little procrastination, I call it a night. Tomorrow I've got another day off work, so I'm going to have a nice lie-in, set up the PlayStation, and play video games all day. Can't wait. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Good night.